Now let's design the feed line. So for feed line, we will take the point as center of the center of the patch edge, and will align the WCS according to that, and we'll again go for box or brick, and then click on feed, and then we'll write feed, and here we'll be taking as a WF divided by 2 and WF by 2, and then the length of the feed will be minus LF to positive LF by 2, and again the thickness will be nothing but the copper clad only. So I have taken the WF, so since feed line will have to make it in the bottom of the patch, which means length will be increasing as per vertical plane. Here, as per the local coordinates, it means V plane. So that's why I've taken LF, length of feed, as a V plane here, and WF as U axis. So when we click on preview, width of the feed will be 0.18. So one thing I would like to tell you, that width of the feed is inversely proportional to the impedance matching. So I got the value at a 0.2 around, and but the thing is we cannot decrease this value of width of the feed line or any thing less than zero point 0.2 or 0.15, even zero point 0.1, because when you will fabricate the design, it will be very complex or difficult in order to fabricate it or etch on the copper layer. So keeping in mind the resources available and what are the constraint in the fabrication, we have to move according to that only. So the length of the feed width that I have told you, that 1.85 mm, and by default the unit is in mm only. So we'll click on it, okay, and you can see that as per the preview, the feed line is coming around as half on the patch and half lower, but we need to shift that to the bottom. So as we need to shift it on the downside, that is negative of the V side, as you can see that this is the origin, this is the center. So positive V is in the upward direction and negative is in the downward direction. So we have to take as a minus value. So how much portion we need to shift to the downward is half of the feed length. So half of the feed length of that is the half of the 1.85 will be 0.925. If you can check on the calculator, it will come around, if you can check 1.85 divided by 2, it will come around 0.925. So according to that, we'll take the 0.925 on both the sides, because we have to shift as well upward as well as downward, but the thing is half portion is shifted. So if we take a preview, it will come around on the downward side. So we'll click on OK, and then after that we need to make a 50 ohm impedance line here. So we'll again take a midpoint of this edge of the feed length edge, and we'll align the WCS according to that, and we'll click on 5 to make the front view, and we'll click on box or brick, then we'll named as 50 ohm impedance, and we'll take as a feed length or feed width, we'll be taking as a feed width here. So let's say FW divided by 2, and again FW by 2, and here it will be, let's say, FL by 2 and FL by 2, and again TC. So how I considered the value for length of the feed of for 50 ohm and 50 ohm feed width, so I will tell in the next video for the width of the feed, and the feed length you can check here again, that what is the dimension, what is the space we have left here for, and I have checked already and it's coming around 2.95 something. And further I would like to tell that when you are about to fabricate the design, if I have to fabricate this design, Then I have to extend this 50 ohm feed. So let me show you. Then feed width will be coming around 0.72 and feed length is 0.295. And again, in order to shift the 50 ohm feed to the downward, we have to take the half of the 0.295, that is 0.1475. So we'll be taking as this 0.1475, and if we take a preview, it is coming around exactly aligned to the substrate layer. So we have to be careful that whether it is aligning with this substrate edge or not. It should not be beyond this substrate line or more than this substrate edge. So we'll click on OK. The material will be same as well, and after that we have to add all these three patch feed line as well as 50 ohm. So in order to add this, select a patch and then click on boolean, then add, and click simultaneously this feed as well as 50 ohm. Now click on enter. It will add, and hence if you notice that this the line has been disappeared at both the side, it will disappear.